On the morning of August 12, 1843, a single scream shattered the stillness of Willowbrook Plantation in South Carolina's Low Country. When Catherine Hargrove opened the door to her husband's private quarters, what she saw made her collapse to the floor. Within hours, word spread through the plantations like wildfire. Within 3 days, over 300 townspeople gathered in Beaufort Square to witness a punishment so brutal that witnesses refused to speak of it for the rest of their lives. The county sealed every record. For 80 years, no one knew what had really happened until 1923. When historians finally opened the documents, what they found wasn't a scandal of passion. It was something far darker, the deliberate destruction of a man's soul, orchestrated by the one person who knew exactly how to use shame as a weapon. Before we open the doors of Willowbrook, do one thing: follow this page right now, because what's buried next will change the way you see Southern history forever. Now let's go back to 1843. Beaufort was a world of contradictions, beauty built on cruelty. Spanish moss hung from the oaks like funeral veils. The air smelled of salt and decay. Beneath the charm, everything was rotting. And at the center of it all stood Willowbrook Plantation, home to the Hargroves, one of South Carolina's richest families. Edmund Hargrove, 35 years old, the perfect Southern gentleman, broad-shouldered, polished, respected. He owned 3,000 acres, a mansion with French chandeliers and heart pine floors so seamless they looked poured from glass. He sat on the church council. People called him fair, which, in that world, meant he didn't whip his slaves as often as others did. But behind those white columns, Edmund hid something that would destroy his legacy. His wife, Catherine, was everything society demanded: beautiful, refined, trained to smile through silence. Their 1,837 wedding was the talk of Charleston, 400 guests, a perfect union of power and wealth. Everyone said their children would be beautiful. But 6 years later, there were no children. And in the South, that wasn't just misfortune, it was humiliation. The whispers grew. Catherine felt them at church, at dinner tables, even from Edmund's own mother. She blamed herself. She didn't know the truth was never hers to carry. Because Edmund's secret didn't live in her bedroom. It lived in the quarters behind the main house. His secret had names: Marcus, Samuel, Daniel. Marcus was 24, the son of the head cook, light-skinned, educated, with eyes that saw everything. He'd been Edmund's personal valet since he was 15, always one step behind, always quiet. Samuel worked the stables strong, silent, with hands that knew both gentleness and violence. Daniel tended the fields, younger, quick-witted, and fiercely loyal. Catherine thought these men were simply part of the household. She never knew how deep her husband's darkness ran. Because what she saw that morning, the scene that made her scream, revealed that Edmund's power was built on something unspeakable, something the church, the town, and even the newspapers agreed could never be printed. When the truth spread, the town turned rabid. What happened in the next 72 hours would leave Beaufort drenched in shame, a public punishment designed to erase sin through terror. And yet, the one person who orchestrated every moment, who made sure her husband's name would burn for generations, was Catherine herself. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a calculated act of vengeance, and the letters found decades later prove it.